I turned 39 last week, my wife Laura is 36, and my stepson Ethan just hit 17 back in August. I have to get this off my chest because what unfolded had been simmering for nearly 3 years, and I had been mentally prepared for it the whole time. Laura and I matched on a dating app 4 years ago. She already had Ethan from an earlier relationship. His biological father vanished when Ethan was barely 2, never sent a dime, never called, never showed up. When we first started seeing each other, Laura was working part-time at a clothing store and renting a tiny 2-bedroom apartment. Ethan was 13, a quiet kid who didn't talk much. He seemed okay with me in the beginning. I run a small digital marketing consultancy that does solid numbers, nothing flashy, but it keeps me comfortable. I bought my house at 29 and paid it off aggressively. 4 bedrooms, quiet suburb, excellent school district. We got married a year after we met. I really believed we were creating something genuine. Laura quit her retail job about 7 months after the wedding, saying the commute was draining her, and she wanted to focus on turning the house into a proper home. I was fine with that. Ethan started calling me Mark instead of anything that implied a parental role, which I respected. I never pushed to replace his dad. I helped with algebra, drove him to basketball practice, paid for every expense. Tuition, clothes, phone, the whole gaming rig in his room, everything. The change crept in roughly 2 years ago. Ethan began making little digs about how his real dad wouldn't enforce chores, wouldn't set screen time limits, wouldn't make him earn things. His real dad would have already bought him a Mustang for his 16th birthday. I'd calmly remind him that his real dad wasn't around to do any of those things. Laura would immediately jump in and scold me for being insensitive and hurting his feelings about abandonment. She said I needed to be the adult and show more patience. The digs turned into full-blown contempt. Ethan started posting TikToks and Instagram reels about how tough it was to live with a guy who wasn't his actual father. He'd film videos complaining about house rules and caption them, living in a fake family, or when your mom marries an ATM. Laura would watch them and laugh so hard she'd cry. She'd forward them to her group chat with heart eye and crying laughing emojis. Last Thanksgiving, right in front of Laura's parents and her younger sister, Ethan announced at the table that he couldn't wait until he was 18 so he could finally move out and stop pretending I was anything close to family. Laura just smiled softly like it was cute. Her mom told me I needed to pick my battles with teenagers. Her sister said boys need space and I was probably too strict. I finished my turkey in silence while they all debated my shortcomings as a step-parent. After that night, I started paying real attention. Not emotional attention, cold, clinical attention. Laura had stopped contributing a single dollar to the household years earlier. Yet Amazon packages arrived almost daily. Clothes, throw pillows, random kitchen appliances she used once. Ethan got a brand new high-end gaming laptop last Christmas, $2,300 after tax. I paid. He unboxed it live on stream and told his audience, "Mom surprised me with this beast." I saw everything. Every eye roll when I walked into a room. Every time Ethan filmed me doing ordinary dad stuff and turned it into mockery. Every time Laura liked and commented, skull under those videos, and I started preparing. The house is solely in my name, bought it years before I ever met her. Never added her to the deed. Both vehicles are titled and insured only in my name. All utilities, streaming accounts, cell plan, credit cards, everything is under my control and my name only. I kept meticulous records of every transaction for the past 3 years, not because I thought I'd need them in court at the time, but because I knew, deep down, this day was coming, and I wanted to be ready. 3 months ago, I overheard Ethan and his buddy in the living room. His friend asked why he was always so brutal to me online. Ethan laughed and said it was comedy gold watching me try to play dad when everyone knew I was just the guy footing the bill. He said his mom had told him I was lonely and desperate when they met, that I'd basically take anyone who gave me a ready-made family. He said once he hit 18, Mom was probably ditching me anyway because she'd put in her time and deserved someone better. I didn't burst in. I walked to my home office, closed the door, and felt something inside me turn ice cold. That was the moment the countdown truly started. I spent the next 90 days triple-checking every account, every password, every legal detail. I made sure I knew exactly what was mine and what I could shut off in an instant, without breaking any laws. My birthday fell on a Thursday. Laura had been hyping up this special dinner all week at an upscale steakhouse downtown. Ethan kept smirking and saying he had something legendary planned for me. The morning of my birthday, Ethan came downstairs while I was pouring coffee and handed me a fancy black envelope. Inside was an 11-page printed manifesto titled, "Why Mark Will Never Be My Dad." It was brutal. Numbered list, screenshots, specific examples of everything he claimed was cringe about me. My clothes, my jokes, my attempts to bond, how I bought my way into a family, how I'd never be his real father. He was filming my reaction on his phone, live streaming to his Discord group. I could hear Laura giggling upstairs. I read the first page, folded it calmly, handed it back, and told him we'd discuss it later. His face fell. He clearly wanted tears or rage for content. I went to work like it was any other day. Laura texted me 3 times reminding me about the 7 p.m. reservation, lots of kissy emojis. I arrived at the restaurant right on time. Laura and Ethan were already seated, with 4 of Ethan's friends I'd never met, all of them holding their phones like weapons. Laura waved me over, beaming in a brand new dress I'd never seen. Ethan wore the $400 hoodie I'd bought him a month earlier. Nobody said happy birthday. Laura gave Ethan a little nod. Within seconds, the giant TV over the bar switched from sports to a slideshow/video titled, "Top 50 Reasons Mark is Not Dad Material." The entire restaurant, easily 40 people, watched a montage of secretly recorded clips of me doing completely normal things. Mowing the lawn, cooking breakfast, helping with homework, loading the dishwasher, even sleeping on the couch once. Each clip had snarky captions and Ethan's voiceover roasting me. Reason 27. Thinks socks with sandals are a personality. Reason 44. Expects gratitude for paying bills like it makes him a hero. Laura filmed my face the whole time. Ethan's friends were howling. When it ended, Ethan stood up and announced to the whole room that his real dad would never be this lame, this controlling, this desperate for approval. He got fist bumps from his buddies and awkward stares from strangers. I didn't stand up. I didn't yell, I didn't walk out. I smiled, small, polite, unbothered, and opened the menu. I ordered the 22-ounce ribeye, lobster, mac and cheese, a bottle of the 2016 Caymus Cabernet I never buy for myself. Laura's smile faltered. Ethan looked confused. Their audience kept waiting for the meltdown that never came. They kept ordering. Apps, entrees, desserts, rounds of mocktails turned into real cocktails for the 17-year-olds. I didn't stop them. The bill hit $463 with tip. The waiter placed it in the middle. Laura pushed it toward me without a word. Ethan smirked. I put my card down, signed, tipped the poor waiter 25% because none of this was his fault, stood up, wished everyone a pleasant evening, and left. Laura called after me, "Where are you going?" Ethan shouted something about me being dramatic. I drove straight home, went to my office, and executed the plan I'd rehearsed in my head for months. I changed every password, canceled Laura's cards, removed her as an authorized user everywhere, dropped Ethan's line from my cell plan and moved it to a prepaid SIM with $0 balance, removed Laura as driver on both auto policies, disabled every streaming account, locked every utility portal. Then I packed an overnight bag, checked into a nice hotel 20 minutes away using my business card, and sent Laura one text. Staying elsewhere for a bit. We'll talk when I'm ready. Turned my phone off. Next morning, 52 missed calls, dozens of texts escalating from confusion, anger, right arrow, panic. Ethan's phone dead. Internet gone. Netflix asking for new login. Car insurance app saying Laura was no longer covered. I ignored everything and went to work. By Saturday, they were promising the moon, counseling, jobs, apologies, whatever I wanted. I still didn't reply. Sunday, the messages turned desperate. Power company threatening shutoff, no groceries. Sydney crying himself to sleep. Monday, the power actually went off. Tuesday, her parents showed up demanding I act like a man. Wednesday, I finally walked back into my own dark, powerless house at noon. Laura's parents were there. Her mom started yelling about financial abuse. Her dad called me a tyrant. I sat down and showed them 2 years of screenshots, every cruel post, every video, every comment Laura had liked. Then I showed bank statements. $187,000 plus I had spent on them in 3 years while being treated like dirt. Then I asked Laura in front of her parents why she actually married me. After a lot of tears and deflections, she admitted the truth. She was drowning financially, needed stability for Ethan, thought I was kind and would provide, figured love would grow later. She insisted love did grow. Her parents told her to stop talking. I informed them I had filed for legal separation the day before and requested exclusive use of my own home. A hearing was already scheduled. I gave them until the end of the month to vacate. They begged, threatened lawyers, cried, screamed. I walked out. Friday, the court notice arrived. Laura thought it was foreclosure. It wasn't. Panic reached nuclear levels. Ethan called me sobbing, finally admitting Laura had co-written the 10-page letter and orchestrated the entire restaurant stunt because she thought I could take a joke. I told him actions have consequences. Saturday, my lawyer and I met them at the house to go over logistics. Laura looked like she hadn't slept in days. Ethan looked terrified. My lawyer laid it out. House is mine, cars are mine, most furniture is mine, 30 days to leave, no temporary support yet because she has a lawyer to argue that in court. I did agree to keep paying Ethan's basic school fees until graduation because I'm not actually a monster. They left for her parents' house the following weekend. It's been quiet since. The house feels enormous and peaceful. Some people online say I went too far. Maybe, but I never broke a law. I never put them on the street. I simply stopped bankrolling people who treated me like a joke for 3 years. They gambled that I would keep paying forever out of loneliness or pride. They lost. And honestly, watching the exact moment they realized every light, every car, every bite of food they'd enjoyed came from me, and that I could turn it all off with a few clicks, was the most satisfying birthday gift I've ever received. That's my story. I turned 39. Got handed an 11-page hate letter, got publicly roasted on a giant screen while my wife filmed it for laughs, paid a $463 bill, smiled, went home and took my life back.